Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. We are covering the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. This is season 5. This might be episode 9, maybe 8. Sorry, I do forget which one we're at, 8 or 9. Hey, I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Please like this video, and also you can subscribe to this channel if you are not. Share this video, and you can leave your comments below. Now let's get into this episode. All right, finally a new day, but they did find a way to recap of what's going on. But I love the editing. I love how they are able to produce this and tell a story. A lot of other housewife shows can't do this, and I like the way that they do certain episodes to make them stand out and just a little bit special. So Mary, she's hosting a lunch or dinner or whatever, an event, and it's Audrey Hepburn, a breakfast at Tiffany's, a themed. And they get into, about, I think Mary said it later on in the episode, but, she's got a lot of things going on. And she pulls off events and things like that to just take her mind off of things or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Who's the first one up to start talking? I think it was Heather and Lisa. Heather and Lisa go to somewhere, Sabe or something like that. Lisa is buying jewelry and all that good stuff. I love to see when the ladies spend. I wish they would actually do that on Potomac and Atlanta, and I don't know why they don't show that at all. That's just kind of, they do it on Miami, they do it on Beverly Hills. I don't know about OC too much, but I mean, y'all, I look for it for the wealth. I look for it for the escapism. I look for luxury. And the people that should be luxurious, we settle for the shade. And that's not cool. Not for the black shows. So they're there. They're talking about, Lisa was like, I really hated that you weren't there on the trip. I'm like, yeah, blah, 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 blah. Brown was telling me her side, and she was wanting me to feel a certain way and do all this, but I really want you two to work it out, And Heather was like, well, if she had all these feelings and crying and all that, how come I wasn't there? Well, in so many words, Heather said, well, I'm going to have to teach her. Basically, I'm going to have to son her in subjection. Look, I'm going to say this much about Salt Lake City. Now, of course, I started out watching the show from season 1. Season 2 pissed me off that I stopped watching. And I stopped reviewing because of the mess that they were doing. Of course, I heard stuff on season 3 or whatever, but I wasn't watching. Season 4, I didn't really watch until the very end, and I'm really getting back into it. Unfortunately, you guys, it's taken a while to really structure you guys as a group and as an ensemble group. A lot of stuff has been going on. Y'all had a lot of scandals and stuff, and you guys are now finally forming into something. Yes, Heather, you are an OG. Lisa, you are an OG. Meredith, you are an OG. Mary is an OG. Whitney, you are an OG. But you guys had no structure. I think you guys are finding your way. But to have this hierarchy is not really going to work. And you think bullying people into submission is going to work? No. Especially when you can't be accountable for what you do. And you think you can be a Lisa Barlow. And you let Lisa Barlow get away with da-da-da-da-da. You can tell that something happened after last season with these OGs that said that they're going to be in alliance. Since Lisa wants to be Queen Bee and all this good stuff, Whitney isn't really in it because of what she did on that podcast. And I said this last week too. So it's like, you can tell that now they're just gonna let Mary be Mary. I get that, but at the same time, as I said at the beginning of the season, I did get why Heather would have been kind of leery of Brown, but you've taken no time to try to get to know her. You don't have that much PTSD that you can't try to get to know her. You brought your friend on who's just so loopy and crazy. I don't get what's happening. You don't put any type of specifics on Melly or whatever her name was. I mean, we haven't seen her in so many episodes, so whatever. But it's just like all this scrutiny on the new person. Nah, If Brown had continued in what she seemed to have displayed in the first couple of episodes, then I would be on your side, but I'm not on your side. I have not seen a repeat of what's going on with Brown on what I thought was skeptical, where it just seems like she was going around a group. It looked like she was kind of being, I don't want to say two-faced, but kind of just saying what the next person is to try to get information, trying to be, in their faces and doing something else. So you can say two-faced, but it was just like, no, you can't say that she's a repeat offender. You've had this fault-finding spirit that I've already said before, and that's this church way of doing things. You're just this old church mother that's just pointing fingers at people while there's 4 more pointing back at you. So you're coming up with stuff because you think you need to sun her, as I've said before. So it's just like, whatever. You need a teacher, so go on and teach her, Heather. Go on and teach her. Did they talk a little bit about the plane tickets? They talked a little bit about it, but we'll get more into it at Mary's dinner. Todd and Brown. I'm just going to say this. People are very worried about how Tom is with Brown. If Brown didn't say something in the confessional, I would let it all go. But she said something that was like, ooh. I don't think what Todd said to Brown was bad when they actually sat down and talked. I wish he didn't have his arms folded, because it was just like, almost like dictatorship. If y'all know what I mean, it's just like, why you gotta do that? Like, this is your wife. And it's just like, I'm disappointed in you, Brown. I think when he took on that posture, how he talked, I didn't have a problem with it. Sorry. Maybe other people did, but he's like, that's not your character. I've never seen you go this far, and it's just like, it seems like these women bring out the worst in you. That's just not something that I'm used to. I still think that Todd's got to get used to Housewives, and I don't think that he really knew what he was getting into. That's my opinion. Now, what's alarming to me is what Brown said. She said that she seeks Todd's approval. His approval and his thoughts about me not just matter the most, but matters the most. But he doesn't want me to express or go that route with other people. But then she also said, even in private with him. I said, oh, Lord. So it's like, I want to have a positive outlook on Todd, but it's just like, I still got to keep my eye on him. I don't know. I just keep hearing from a lot of women that have older men as partners or married or in relationship with, saying that kind of comes with the territory. And you do know what you're getting into when you get with these older dudes. I don't know how to answer that. Because I was like, should I just say this? But I don't know if I want to just stick my finger on it, because it's just like, that's not, I don't know if it's for me to actually say and give a definitive answer on that, unfortunately. Ladies, I guess just, if you're going to do it, gird your loins or whatever, and I guess deal with it, I guess, if you want to deal with it. If you want out, then get out. So that was that with that. We go on with Angie and her, Angie is with her daughter, Electra. They're doing stuff together, and we talk a little bit about Electra's doting over Electra. Angie doting over Electra. She's the helicopter mom. She would ask all these helicopter questions. How are you? What are you doing? Why is your room door locked? Electra's okay with it, but then she's like, you don't have to do that. If she's not really saying, Mom, some things aren't necessary to do, it seems like. So anyways, later on, Angie invites her father over. They talk a little bit about her mother. We find out that, I think she probably already said this, but she died very young, or young in her life. I think she had like 6 or 7 children. And she died from alcoholism. Angie's been holding on to resentment for her mom dying so young, and not being there for her. She really wanted this, and she's trying to make up with her daughter. I think Angie took it very personal regarding what Lisa was saying. Lisa may have thought it was so odd for her to be so overbearing. And this is what I'm going to say, Angie, because we could make Lisa be the villain all she wants, and she's so absorbed and all that, self-absorbed. But Angie, have you really expressed that outside of just being on this show, on as to why you are the way that you are towards Elektra? Because if I'm on the phone and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I gotta go see what Elektra wants, that could be kind of weird. I would think other things. I would possibly think, okay, so you just don't want to be on the phone with me. Like, you would use excuses, and you took it as somebody attacking your motherhood, but obviously there's some dysfunctions in you that you're trying to make up, or some traumatic things about you that you're trying to make up in your daughter, but for some reason you're getting offensive to other people that don't understand your world. Could Lisa ask what's going on? Yes. Can you be the responsible one and mature one to say, hey, look, I do this for my daughter, please don't do that, and this is why I do it, because maybe she doesn't understand that. And again, these folks who have been friends for so many years will fall out over anything, and it's kind of weird on these reality shows. Sorry. So it was cool to hear Louie, she said, I had amazing children, and she said, you did a good job. I still needed my mother. They cry. I think that there was some type of necklace that was given to Elektra in memory of Angie's mom and all that. She's like, she didn't have any feelings about it when she saw it. They're like, why didn't I have that? I think that there's some things that she could seek out in therapy to find some healing in, to let go of the hurt. The dad did say that her mother only had like a brother and she wanted all these children. Angie was trying to understand, well, I know with just having one child and how overwhelming it could be. So possibly having all of these children, look, sometimes women are just left alone. I don't know. I'm glad that the dad just stepped up when the mom did pass away. I mean, what was he like beforehand? What if she did have to take on all of these children? Maybe I don't know how long postpartum is, but maybe she just still has some depression going on that probably had nothing to do with postpartum. Maybe she couldn't express herself. There's a lot of things that I think we could still have compassion on concerning this woman that obviously was carrying a lot of stuff while trying to be a wife and a mother. So I give her, but that's not my situation, a little grace, because you just don't know what this woman was really dealing with, and all that. I don't think that Angie is wrong with how she feels, and that's just that. So good seeing from you. Now we get on to the dinner at Mary's. Bronwyn is the first to arrive. She has a little ponytail with the Audrey Hepburn Breakfast at Tiffany bangs. She did it well. She's dressed in yellow. She said that she's normally she's fashionably late, but still respectable. So she arrived on time because she said, look, I'm scared of Mary and I don't want no smoke from her. And I said, good choice, girl. I'm glad you did that. Who's next? Meredith came. Meredith came with the bun and with the bangs, but the bangs stopped like up here. It was a mess, unfortunately. Lisa ended up coming in is it like teal jumpsuit? It's the same jumpsuit that Mary got. Lisa's trying to claim that she bought it off the runway and Mary must have bought hers off the rack. I said, wait a minute now. So that was some kind of stuck up stuff right there. You act like you are the one that can afford right off the runway and Mary just buying off the rack. Stop it. I will say this not just out of my like for Mary, but Mary at least styled it up. You came in a jumpsuit when this was about Breakfast at Tiffany's. Heather, she came in a white sweater and skirt type thing, which she doesn't look like she really dressed the theme. Whitney looked nice. She didn't do the bangs, but she did the headband thing. She looked classy. Angie comes, and I think that she's the best dressed. Looked very well. Mary comes out, Of course, Bronwyn was awkward because she was the first person there, so she got a drink and all that good stuff. They even have a place for Brittany. And Mary said why she invited Brittany is because I wanted Brittany to know that I'm not poor. I don't know how things started off, whatever. Oh, when Heather did arrive, she made sure that she talked to everyone but Bronwyn. And I forgot who, Andy or Meredith. You're not going to kiss Bronwyn? Oh, I said, Lord. But again, you think that you could be mean girl, but you're not really that mean girl. Like the cousins really irritate me in ways because I just know how they act. But whatever, y'all are just, that was just really crazy. So I think they get to the table, and I think Heather wants to say, Mary, thank you for inviting me, because everybody didn't get to go on that trip, blah, 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 blah. I don't get invitations and all that. Basically, she wanted to make sure that Brown knew that she had a problem with her. And she was acting very mean, trying to sun Brown. Brown and them were going back and forth. I heard that you really wanted me on the trip, and you're crying and all that, but you didn't. But how do I know that that's not what you really wanted? She said, well, I did buy you an airplane ticket. Well, how did you do that? You didn't know my birthday. And Brown said, well, I actually asked around for your birthday. Well, I actually lied to all my friends about my birthday, so you could have got my birthday. Heather. Every turn that we're looking at Heather, she's trying to find a way to make Brown look like she's the villain. Brown is in the wrong and all that stuff, and you look ridiculous. So Heather finally broke it down and said, hey, within this group, we've got a lot of stuff going on, and I'm very defensive of people that are newer coming in this group. Brown said, hey, I'm still willing to try to get to know you and to start off on a better foot, and basically, are you? She said, okay. Heather was trying to get some type of emotional stuff in there, and I'm glad nobody paid attention to that mess. Like, you are being very manipulative and crazy to get to know someone else in this group. That's not fair, Heather. You didn't give her a chance. But whatever, you was just really, you thought you were really dealing with Monica. I didn't even want to say her name. Monica's not that smart. Brown is, and you don't know how to handle that. So we'll see what happens in the future on if there's a future relationship with Heather and all that. They did talk about the plane situation because they were like, how come you sat everybody else in coach and all that, and then you still sat in first class? And she said, because that's my own card. Of course, my ASS is going to sit where I want to be seated because I'm paying for everything. Of course. What are you talking about? Like, Heather was very stupid. You are really crazy. Of course, Lisa was complaining in regards to her seat. And then Angie, who was trying to act more humble, like, oh my God. Lisa was like, no, you had a problem with it. Like, no. Angie and Whitney were all trying to somewhat suck up to Todd and Brown on the trip because they aren't used to anything. You gotta watch the folks. So that's how they were acting, if you did not notice that. So, of course, you're going to be on your good behavior, on your best behavior, for just to make sure that you can get favors later on to be a part of whatever. Brittany, with her crazy tale, was like, the only invite I've gotten is from Mary, but I've had you guys at my house, and I just don't understand why you guys don't include me and stuff. And then after the whole kumbaya between Heather and Brown, she stood up and was like, what about me? Like, don't you have sisters or siblings or whatever? It looks like you demand a lot of attention. You are at least 40-something to 50-something acting like a 5-year-old. And everybody's like, oh, God, sit down. Brittany is crazy and a lost cause. Angie, which I think was unnecessary, said, look, I think that we need to settle some things because of what happened on the Palm Springs thing, It got heated between her and Meredith. I don't understand why Angie went this route. At least by the end of the trip, Meredith has settled things. At least what I thought it was. And then you brought it back up, but then you want to say that Meredith was bringing up stuff. You're still harping on whatever you think that Meredith was insinuating about your husband's sexuality. But nobody will actually direct that Monica was the one to actually say that people think that he's gay. And again, you guys were too dramatic about that mess. He's in the beauty world. People are going to think that no matter what. He could be the most masculine alpha dude ever. People are going to still be like, it comes with that territory. And then you act like you're so shocked. Stop that mess. I've said this before. Like, I think it was so unnecessary as to how things went. Meredith and Angie were yelling at each other. I think Meredith ended up playing a recording of Sean. I think this was at the podcast. Whitney takes her phone, and Meredith was like, I will handle my phone, please. Give me my phone back. She got up and snatched it out of Whitney's hand, as she should have, and I would have clocked her too. But Whitney's like in the confessional making fun of Meredith. But look, if that happened to you, you wouldn't have done the same thing, lady. So I don't understand. So Mary gets up because she was sick of Angie and Meredith yelling. Angie gets up, as she always does. And then Meredith's like, y'all need to stop all of this. And if you can't do that, y'all can leave. Meredith took it as a sign that Mary was kicking her out. And Mary's like, no, I said you guys need to calm down. If you cannot do that, you can leave. And then she gets up and embraces Mary and says, I'm going to leave. I'm hurt. I love you. Like, no, this isn't love. Let's talk this out. Why? Mary's like that. Meredith overreacted for whatever reason. I don't know why. It didn't take all that. After evaluating, because I didn't know what happened as to why Meredith and Mary fell out. And there's no real reason. And I think Mary's just not going to come up behind her and dote over her. Like, Meredith, you took it to a place that did not have to go. So hopefully Meredith sees it a different way after watching herself be a clown for whatever reason. But Angie did stuff that she didn't have to do, because you wanted to take it back there yet again, but you want to say that Meredith was. No. I enjoyed the episode, though. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Let me know how you feel. Thank you for your support. Like this video. Subscribe. And I already said, let me know how you feel. Until the next one, peace.